In this video, we're going to walk through how query filters work inside of Monolith. So filters in Monolith is basically just a way for you to kind of pare down the data that you're looking at. So you'll see this all over the place in Monolith, especially where you see tables of data. So for example, right now I'm looking at the view of my cases. You can see the add filter here. It also lives on the full evidence page, storage items, the individual evidence tables, pretty much anywhere that there's a table of data, you're usually going to find the option to add a filter so you can kind of narrow down that data and pick and choose what you're looking at. So what I'm looking at right now here is just kind of the default view of all of my cases. But let's say I just wanted to look at cases that I'm assigned to, and the case type is a fraud case. So I can set up a filter to look at just that data. So to do that, I'm going to click on this add filter button here and click assign users. When you open this, you'll be able to search for a particular filter. So if you know you need a priority filter, for example, you can start typing that and that'll narrow down the search for you so you don't have to scroll down this drop-down menu. But both options are available to you. All right, so I'm going to click assign users is myself. All right, so that narrowed it down a tiny bit. And let's also add a filter for my fraud case, which would be case type. And I just want fraud, so I'm going to type is fraud. Okay, so now what I'm looking at is cases that I'm assigned to, and the case type is fraud. And something too is as you're setting these up, these middle kind of clickable things here, this is what kind of guides the parameters. So when you click on these, it's going to vary depending on the type of field you selected before it. So for example, this one we just have is any of or none of, and then on this type field we have a few more options, but they're your pretty standard, filtering options to kind of pare down the information as you go. Something else I want to point out to you as well is filters in Monolith are persistent. So if I click away to a different page temporarily, let's just go to the overview real quick. And then if I click back into the case I was just on, you'll see that it remembered my filters. So something to be aware of. So as you're kind of navigating throughout Monolith, when you're done with this filter set, if you click these X's, you'll be able to remove the filters and get kind of back to your default view. And something else to point out too is once you have a filter set, you can, if you download the table, Monolith's going to download the filtered data. So if you, for example, needed to provide a spreadsheet of that information to somebody who maybe doesn't have access to a Monolith, just of that particular data set, you can absolutely do that. Just a few things to keep in mind here. All right, so let me clear this. So I'm back to my default view. And then let's quickly take a look at the evidence table specifically. So right now I'm looking at the overall evidence items view. I just clicked into this evidence items view to get to this page. And you can see we have our filter again. So let me just set a quick filter. Let's say I'm only want to see evidence items related to a couple of template cases we have with the word Smith in it. So let's say case name is Smith fraud case. Okay, so right now I'm just looking at evidence items from one of my test cases, the Smith fraud case. Something that's cool about the evidence filter is you may notice this and button here at the top left. So you can see Monolith's giving us a little pop-up explanation, but basically this, on evidence tables, you can change the and or logic. So and logic allows you to kind of stack a few filters in a row. So like if we want a case name is this, evidence type is cell phone, we would follow the same process we used before, and it would stack those filters basically. So just to quickly show you what that's like. Okay, so you can see this is adding both of those, applying both of those filters to this data set. But let's say I wanted to look at evidence items from this case or a different case, meaning it'll pull in all the evidence items from the two filters that I specify. So to set that up, we would click this and, change it to or, and instead of this filter stacking, what it's going to do is let us apply a completely separate filter and add that to our data set. So let me add another case name, and let's do Smith Agency. Okay, so you can see now I'm seeing evidence items from Smith Agency and Smith Fraud case in this singular view. And all of this is persistent again as well. So if I navigate away, it's going to remember the or and it's going to remember these filters. So just remember to clear them when you're done looking at that data set. Change this back to and as well. That's usually the one we're going to be using. And again, you can find filters pretty much anywhere there's a table. You'll be able to see filters and set up filters to kind of help you narrow down data and find specific data that you may need to find as you're working on your case. And we do also have documentation about this feature, so we'll include a link to that in the description if you're interested in reading further up on that. And that is how query filters work inside of Monolith. Thanks for watching.